ready, Kay?
I'm ready, Micheline.
You know it's Monday night, right?
Yeah, you know what that means.
It's the Kicks and Giggles show.
The Kicks and Giggles show.
It's the Kicks and Giggles show.
It's the Kicks and Giggles show.
It's the kick. It's the giggle. It's the show.
Hey,
Time to do this, people.
let's go. Hey, everyone. This is the Kicks and Giggles show. I'm KS Lewis.
I'm Micheline Bowman.
We are the Divas of Monday night, coming to you live and direct. I'm looking at my hair in the camera, and I'm like, man, come on. This is just whatever. It's just whatever. For those of you who can see me, I am. For those of you who can see me, let me turn. Well, I'm supposed to say, let me turn my phone down, but it is down. You see what I'm talking about? I got like a little lopsided fro going on, but I don't care.
Yeah, mine's wet, so it's wet and I'm blonde.
Yeah, and it looks good. You look good blonde.
Ooh, okay, thank you. Hey, Kay.
Hey.
Mm-hmm. I'm just
right. We got a lot to talk about today, so I don't want to belabor. So we need to get into the actual kick and giggle.
Yes.
For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, we come on every second and fourth Monday night at 9 p.m. everywhere you like to get your podcast, and YouTube and Facebook.
Of course. And I'm so excited, even though I'm whipped. I'm whipped to the bone, got too much going on. So I'm just gonna, today was one of those days trying to be grandmother and work and cook and camp and all that great stuff. So my kicks and my giggles start now.
I've been traveling all weekend, and I literally got home a little at almost 5 today, and so but it was great. It was a great quick trip home. I'll go into my giggle. I just said it. I went home for the weekend to go to my family reunion. And this was our first time getting together since pre-COVID. And so it was really nice. And I brought a whole bunch of country stuff home. I ate barbecue the whole weekend. Like, seriously.
Oh, you said seriously, like you like barbecue, pork barbecue,
pulled pork. I had barbecue the whole weekend. I just had stuff like that I normally don't eat the whole weekend. So that was great.
And that's keto friendly, so it's good.
Oh yeah. Yes. And then I went to, so if you're from North Carolina or from the country, then you know there's these stores called Carly C's IGA. So listen, I don't want nobody telling me they racist. I don't give a damn. I like the fact that they got country food. Well, let me pause. I do give a damn if they're racist, but but for today, I went and I always stop by IGA before I come home, and I load up on stuff like bright leaf hot dogs, which is my favorite hot dog. I know you look at me like that every time, but it's a red hot dog. You put it in the water. It turns the water red when you cook it. I love it. And they also have like, I don't know, like they have these big family packs of meat. You buy like 5 packs for $60. And so like, I know you don't eat meat anymore, but like if you eat pork steaks or regular steaks and pork ribs and stuff like that, like I do, it's a good buy, great buy, especially right now. Yeah. And then there's also, there's like this little multi like 9 to 12 layer chocolate cake that I like. So I bought a half. I just bought a half. I didn't buy the whole cake.
Okay. I'm giggling.
So I had all that and I posted. I bought a bunch of North Carolina wine too.
Oh, the Scuppernong.
I bought the Scuppernong wine.
That's my favorite word, Scuppernong.
I know. I bought the Scuppernong wine. Scuppernong Blush is my favorite. And then some other wines from Duplin County. Winery, and then there's also Hennett Farms Winery. They do a strawberry wine that I really like, and I thought I grabbed the strawberry wine, but I grabbed something else, so I'm hoping I like it. But whatever. Anyway,
Let me know.
that's
It's
Giggle.
drinkable. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
drinkable.
it's definitely drinkable, and I'm gonna have at it. And I bought a wine that's cotton candy flavor, and so
Ooh,
I'm gonna try that too.
okay.
So anyway, that's my giggle. You know, my kick is a Supreme Court thing, and we can talk
Yeah.
about that. We'll talk about that. So
That's my kick. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm kicking all those mofos who sat up there and wanted to tell somebody what they needed to do how many daggone decades after the fact. But we'll get into that.
Get into that. Yeah.
But my giggle is that today I had the lovely pleasure of taking my granddaughter to camp for the first
Oh,
time, and she's with me for a month. Yeah, she's with me for a month.
ooh, okay.
Yes. So this is going to be a new situation with, getting up and getting a 6-year-old ready for camp and all that. But she had a great day today. But I just giggled because I feel so out of the loop with having to deal with a child in like any type of school time things. Like she
Yeah.
comes, I figure to school, it's one thing, but you're saying in 30 days
Oh,
that
yeah.
4 weeks, 28 days, whatever.
You're about to have a lot of fun. You're about to have a lot of fun, and it's going to be nerve-wracking too, but it'll be fun.
We've had a ball already. So far,
Yeah.
this is day one. I'm like, okay, if it could be like this every day. I mean, I am so organized that I'm not going to show everybody because they can't see, but we sat down last night and I made a calendar: breakfast, lunch, and dinner, snacks, dessert. So this is what we have
Got to.
because I have to get organized. Otherwise, I'm gonna be scatterbrained. What you want. So I'm giggling at myself that I'm going backwards with my remembering or trying to remember what I did with my daughter who's 21, and
Yes.
then her dad who's 34, and it's like it ain't working. Just
I love it. I was trying to bring my little baby niece who's 2 home with me, but I would not have been that organized. She probably been running around with her diaper on her head. So it's probably a good idea that I didn't bring her home.
that's cute. No,
So,
you
yeah.
would not. You're great. You were an amazing mother, so you would not have had a child with no diaper in her head.
Thank you. I mean, she would have eaten. She would have been safe, She would have had fun. But
Yeah, but I got a month, so you check on your girl over here. Just check on me every couple of days. Just check.
I will. Absolutely. I will absolutely check on you. So all right, before we get into our kick, since it's the same, I want to give the shout out. So shout out to everybody down in South Carolina that's listening to the Kicks and Giggles show. Shout out. North Carolina was representing. Shout out to Goldsboro, hometown.
Okay.
Shout out to Greenville. I lived there for many years as well. And shout out to Charlotte. Thank you all for listening. Shout out to St. Paul, Minnesota. Shout out to El Paso. And I think it's pronounced Bourne, Texas. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. Shout out to Miami. Welcome to Miami. Shout out to Harlem, Georgia. I didn't know there was a Harlem, Georgia. So
Never knew that. Okay.
yeah. Hey to everybody. And if you like what you hear, and if this is your first time visiting us, listen to some of our previous shows on any platform that you like to hear your podcast. And you can also check us out on YouTube and Facebook, as I mentioned before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, I have a kind of a kick, but I won't. I'm just gonna just raise my shirt up and say that this right here, my Meet Me Monday. If you follow me and if you're not watching, but you hear me talk about Meet Me Monday, just keep listening because I got some great things. And since this is Monday, I'm channeling in my it's Monday, because this was supposed to start this month,
Right.
but with things beyond my control, it could not. It happens. Shit happens, and so. But I'm just excited that prayerfully everything is going to go down next month at the end of next month. So, we'll be talking about that.
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm hot.
But you look hot.
This was in my little family reunion bag. And when I realized that I had a fan now, I feel compelled to use it.
Okay. Quick question. Where was your family reunions before we
Raleigh, North Carolina, at Fulham Park.
I swear, Cherry, we gotta like just coordinate our situations and figure out if we got some type of somebody because I found out that some of my friends are related to my niece over the weekend. It's another situation, but
We'll talk about it offline.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. So let's get to it. Rita, you miss me, girl. Hey, Rita.
In some kind of way.
Rita, I'm missing my. I can't talk about it. I'm missing it so much. Me too, Rita.
All right, let's talk about our kick, which is the Supreme Court.
Yes, ladies. Yes, ladies. We got a lot of ladies listeners, and we know we have fellas that listen as well. But being that this is a lady situation,
it's really it's a mess. I mean, Roe v. Wade. How you gonna overturn something that has been in place for decades? Decades, and I mean, I'm really disappointed for one. And outside of being disappointed, I don't know if you've been following the news at all, but like immediately after the ruling came down, Missouri was the first state that said, "Oh no, we're doing this shit right now. It's done." God, I was gonna say, I think Illinois, like there's been so many different states that immediately fell in line with just like, nope, it's banned from this point forward, even though I think it technically takes like 10 days to go into it. But I'm just like, how do you regulate what a woman can do with her body, what she decides is best for her body, but we're not talking about gun control anymore. Then I mean, it's been a little bit of blurb here and there that I've seen on CNN over the last few days. We're not talking about men and their responsibility in making all. I mean, my God, can we just talk about Nick Cannon for one? Regulate his ass a little bit.
Let me regulate the sperm.
And we talked about him last show. Being fruitful and multiplying, and I don't have no problem with that. I don't have a problem with that, but I do have a problem with someone telling a woman what she can and cannot do with her body. I don't
agree 100%.
No, I don't like it.
Because I feel like a woman, I have to kind of compose myself because I get a little upset when I think about this. Because again, you're talking about something that has been in place for decades. Decades. And then all of a sudden someone decides to say, oh, you know what? Let's go backwards. We can't have this now. So it just has me worried about other laws that have been passed for decades. So now you're going to go back and pull what? Lord Jesus, they better not pull nothing on the black folks, because this whole country will be gone. Everybody will be out of here.
Listen,
overturn some of the things.
Know that this is only the beginning of what's to come with some of these things that have already been in place. I mean, Clarence Thomas has already said, like, let's
action, all those.
Legalization of gay marriage. Let's look at birth control. Like really, dude. But what you won't say is let's look at interracial marriage. You ain't gonna say that.
He ain't gonna say that. If he does, what's gonna happen with him? You know, he ain't gonna say that. But what I will say,
and again, I'm sorry to cut you off. I am a product of so I'm not saying I'm against it. I am not against interracial marriage. God knows my mama is not black. So, so I'm not against it. But it's just so ridiculous that we are even having to deal with something in 2022 that literally has already been fought for.
Yeah.
Like, why are we still and that can go into so many other issues that we're still fighting for as a people. But yeah.
One of the things I wanted to say, that there was a press conference last Wednesday at the Planned Parenthood up in Baltimore, Maryland, and the Prince George's County, where I live, the state's attorney, Aisha Braveboy, she was there with Baltimore City State's attorney, Marilyn Mosby, with the CEO of Planned Parenthood. And they announced that, hey, you know, my county, Baltimore City, they've joined forces and said, women, this is a safe space, that they, you know, they're against what's going on with the Supreme Court. And that if anyone comes to, you know, Baltimore City or to Prince George's County, you know, they'll be okay, you know, and they will make sure they prosecute anybody who tries to stop a woman from her reproductive rights and things like that. And to me, living here in this county, I'm like, you know what? Go ahead. You know, I'm all like, I'm happy for that, because I feel like that is a personal decision. No one outside of my body should tell me what I can and cannot do, because I'm afraid that what's going to happen in a lot of these states, you're going to have those back alley or what they call a back alley type of situations. Women will be getting hurt, dying. You know, it's going to be worse the way it was back in the day when a woman couldn't openly say, hey, I'm going to have an abortion. And so I'm really afraid for what's to come with this. I really am.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, I was just looking online and there's a post on the Supreme Court website that says out out of concern for the health and safety of the public and Supreme Court employees, the Supreme Court will be closed to the public until further notice. I bet your asses will be closed.
Oh,
I
you
mean,
see my face?
yeah.
Really? Because now they're afraid of what's going to happen as far as their safety is concerned.
Mhm.
Because I mean, it's been proven. You've seen the rallies on TV, you've seen the protests, you've seen everything. I
And
mean, you've seen both sides.
yeah,
You've seen the men and women who are in support of it, but
yeah.
you've seen more who are against it. So that's what I'm saying. They're afraid that violence is going to spike up. But again, like Bray was saying, I agree. I think they use this as a distraction from other issues because now everyone's focused on that, and they're not focused on up the gas, the
Mhm.
war, all the things that's been going on.
And you know what happens when there's something big that distracts us, then they slide in all these other little things while we're not paying attention. And so people, you really need to be paying attention to what's happening because yes, Roe versus Wade is major and it was overturned and that is absolutely despicable. But in the meantime, like you were both saying, during this distraction, there's other stuff that's still happening.
Yeah.
And they can slide in real quick.
It's going to happen. Like you say, this is just the appetizer. I hate to say it like that. This is the appetizer before the entree.
Yeah.
What is the entree right now? We don't know, but
Yeah.
I just know that when that happened, it took me back to a part of time that, again, it just took me back. I was younger then. You weren't even thought about Kay, but you weren't thought about you wasn't in the baby in the making yet. But when you think about something at my age that was past, and
Yeah.
then here I am thinking, well, guys, as old as I am, what else back that far are they going to start bringing back out? Like you said, but it's going to be limited as
Just
far as what they think. And I just disagree 100% with. I disagree. Again, call it what you want. You are entitled to have your right. But when it comes to women's reproductive health, their
Mhm.
rights, I just feel like nobody should have the right to tell me what I can and can't do with
Yeah.
my body. That's just how I feel.
I mean, well, as of 4 days ago, guns have more rights than we do as women. Let's just be very clear, like literally during the same time that they were overturning Roe v. Wade, they were also expanding gun laws to say, "Oh yeah, you can carry a gun
I want to
and
say that. Yeah. Mhm.
in self-defense, you can use it."
Yeah.
So so really, literally, the people who anyway, I don't even want to get into a graphic example, but guns have more rights than I do right now, which absolutely frustrates me. It's despicable. It's crazy, and I'm just keeping watch on what's happening.
We definitely have to. It's kind of shocking too. Well, maybe I shouldn't say shocking. That's not the word. But when you do watch the news or listen to the news or read it wherever you get it from, and I do not know the lady's name, but she's a white woman, and she was talking about the gun thing, and she's
Mhm.
all for the guns, but then she was against. Gosh, I wish I could find her name, and I'm going to find it, and we'll talk about this again. But she was so pro guns and everybody having the right to carry,
Mhm.
a gun and guns this and guns that. But then when it came to the whole abortion thing, she's cricket. She ain't got nothing to say about that.
Absolutely not. Mm-mm. But the thing about it, politics happens behind closed doors, and a lot of times these lawmakers are making all these decisions because they're making agreements behind closed doors, and then they come out and have to lobby for whatever they've promised the other person.
Mhm.
So yeah, ugh,
And that's the thing when you have to when the people are lobbying for certain things,
yeah,
and especially when you look at the states where they were like, okay, this is it. Sorry, no can do.
done.
Well,
And I'm like, really? Like,
just like that.
just like that. But I loved someone posted over the weekend. I mean, of course, because this has been such a hot topic, everybody's been talking about it. Someone posted, like, if it was really about life, if it was really about babies, there would not be, I think they quoted like 40 some thousand children that are waiting to be adopted. And it's like, oh,
Ooh.
babies, go right now and adopt a child. Go get
Mm.
a child that needs a home, a home. Oh, but you're not going to do that.
didn't see that one, but but I like that rationale of that.
I do it again, I'll send it to you. But anyway, it's I'm KS Lewis.
I'm Micheline Bowman, and God damn it, we were kind of like hot to death right now with this one.
Right. Yes.
This got us up in arms.
Yes.
Good.
This is the Kicks and Giggles show, and we are kind of pissed about this whole thing with the Supreme Court ruling of overturning Roe versus Wade.
Yes,
and
definitely.
what that means and what that will lead to in the future.
We definitely took 5 decades backwards. Just for that one ruling has taken us 5 decades backwards. It really has, because I think, and shout out to those who are for us, and shout out to those who have your own opinion about it. I'm just going to shout you out because you're entitled to your own opinion. But the bottom line is that right now, I think that we have to start watching what's to come. And I feel like it's the quiet before the storm. And I don't want to feel anxious, wondering what's next. But like you said, if they have like closed office, closed shop, like, hey, we out, deuces, sorry. We don't know what else is going on. And my whole thing is, when you think about laws that have been passed, the laws are passed and put in place to protect, to help, to service, to whatever people, because people thought that, you know what, it's time for change.
Yeah.
Time to do better. It's time to, but this is not doing better. This is not doing better.
This is setting us back. And I'm just like perusing it as we're talking, but I really encourage people to go to the supremecourt.gov website, because there's still rulings that are happening on a very regular basis, and some of them are just not talked about nationally on the news. And so, yeah, I would say make it a habit of just going and taking a look at this stuff and seeing what is happening right under our noses.
Even the only reason why I know the tedious process of things even reaching to the Supreme Court is because I have a personal friend that I know who has a major case that she has been herself working to get it to the Supreme Court. And just the backlash and the tediousness of getting it heard or seen, and how many cases they even take a look at, how they even decide on how to take a look at a case. It's not like, okay, you go to court and
Right.
I'm taking it to the Supreme Court because I don't like my ruling. It doesn't happen like that.
No.
The whole process of it's a very, very long, tedious process. And those justices have a job, but
Yeah.
I'm just not feeling so comfortable about their job and decision making on this one.
Me neither. And I feel some type of way that like, I don't think Justice, is it Brown Jackson or Jackson Brown? Has she started?
Girl, I was thinking the same thing with Ketanji. Somebody call Ketanji.
Yeah, I don't think she started yet, and so I think it's real shady to do this before she starts, because I would be.
You definitely already know. I feel like she would have been up in arms big time. But
yeah. All right.
That's how I feel. Okay.
Yeah, that's the major kick.
That's
that kick. Gucci, all of that. It's just a kick.
And that's it. Yeah. And I'm on grandma duty, so I got a bottle of H2O. Okay, I gotta keep it.
I'm drinking watermelon margarita. Well, but it's it's just in a regular plastic cup. I'm being country tonight.
I can't wait to get off this.
Let's switch gears and talk about like the topic of the night, which is I'm calling the show "Waste Not, Want Not." Do women waste their good years on ain't shit men? We gotta have a little, we gotta brighten up a little the mood a little.
Yeah. And you know what? And I would, yes. My personal opinion, I'm just going to put it out there and say yes, because lately, as I look back on what I could have, as they say, if I could have, would have, should have.
Yeah.
Yes, I know I personally did. I feel like I did. And now I can't play catch up. I can't play get back. I can't play any of that, because once it's gone, it's gone. Once time is gone, it's gone.
So
but true. I will say that everything that, I guess if you call it wasted, was a lesson learned.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It was definitely a lesson learned.
Yeah.
And if I could go, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. If you could go back.
If I could go back, I would probably go back to my mid-30s. I wouldn't go back any. I would start from my mid-30s and change like one little. just bend it just a little bit. And I think my outcome, well, I can only say I think my outcome to be 55 would be different right now. I can't guarantee. It still could have been a shit case or whatever, but
I think I would have switched mine in my 20s. And the reason is because I had a one ain't shit dude in my 20s that I feel like if I had just not even engaged, it would have possibly changed the trajectory of my life at that time.
Well, see, if I go into my 20s and turn it to the left, not to the right, then I probably would have been married.
Okay. Yeah. So the reason this kind of topic has come up for us, for everyone watching and listening, is because recently, like within the last few weeks, Carisha, or Young Miami from City Girls, she has a podcast called what is it called? Carisha Please is the name of the podcast. And she had Diddy on her podcast and they were talking. And I mean, shout out to her for having Diddy on, and he was being very, transparent during their conversation. But at one point in the conversation, they talk about their rumored relationship. And so I want to play a clip from that, but I also want to, we're going to play a clip from that, but then I also want to talk about last night, because last night was the BET Awards and he was honored. I think it was the Lifetime Achievement Award. He was honored. And she was holding up a big ass sign that said "Go Poppy," and of course, people gave her the business for that. And so it made me think, like, oh God, do we waste our youth? Do we waste our good years on men that ain't shit? Because during his acceptance speech, the reason that people are really going in on her is because during his acceptance speech, he pretty much thanked everybody but her. He didn't say nothing about her. And she's standing there with a big old sign, literally celebrating him in the moment, being excited for him. And he's not even didn't even acknowledge her. But let's check out the clip. I think it's cute. Let's check out the clip and let's see if I do this right. Here we go.
Asshole.
That is.
Oh, hold it. Yeah, there we
go. Mr. At Bad.
I'm single, I'm single, but I'm dating. I'm just taking my time with life.
All right. So what we is?
We date. We dating. We go have dates. We friends.
Okay.
We go to exotic locations. We have great times. We go to strip clubs, church. I'm gonna take you to church.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, like, what you like about me? Cause people be like, she ain't his type. He wouldn't talk to her. So, what is it about me that you like about me? Like, why you fucking with a city girl?
I mean, cause you're authentic. You're like one of the realest people I ever met.
Uh-oh. Hold on, let me remove it. All right. And I had to stop it right there because
Tanya, cringe.
First of all, now when you what did she say? What is
so what we be, or what we is, or what we something?
I'm like, girl, first of all, come on.
What is we, or what is we be, or whatever it was? I'm like, huh, what?
Okay, so I got a lot to say about Carisha. First of all, so Carisha's living her best life. Let's just say that. She's a city girl. If you know anything about the city girls, you know they have a lot of fun in their songs. They twerk. They do that. That's what they're known for. They do all of that. She's, as the young people say, she's in her bag. She's getting it. I love that about her. I love all of that about her. I love the fact that she's out here getting money. She's doing it. She's being herself unapologetically. Even Diddy said, "You're authentic." And just for the sake of, okay, I don't own the rights to that video, and the little like typing stuff you hear, that's on her video. I just didn't put that in the screen. So anyway, I love that about her, but I also can look at her and I feel like but she likes him. Because why would she be putting herself in that position to ask him that? Like, there's no way. If she was just on some sneaky link shit, there's no way that she would even have brought up, what is your relationship status? What is we?
What is we?
You know, like, what am I to you? What do you think? Like, she would not have, she really kind of put him on blast with that.
You see her face? Because she was like, to me, she was kind of taken aback, like, oh, we just go on exotic trips and you fucked me and life is good. And church, she was like, church.
Like, we ain't been to church, Negro. What you talking about?
We have a good time. Right. I mean, I don't think I sitting there, even at my age now, if a man just said, oh, you know, we date. I mean, we date, we go places.
No, he said, I'm single.
Yeah. First thing, yeah. I'm single. So I think if a man said that to me, I've been like, yeah, we date, we go out, we go to nice places. I'm like, I ain't trying to be your side piece. I'm pretty much letting you know how I feel.
Yeah.
And then you just tell me, oh, we just date. I mean, we go places. I'm single. No, when he said I'm single, I've been like throwing the water on him.
Like, oh, you single, huh?
We hold you down. We hold you down.
Right. So the like I said, I love her for who she is, just individually, and she reminds me a lot. I have a couple nieces that are in their 20s, and they're just, you know,
he could be her daddy. You know what I'm saying?
Say what?
He could be her dad.
Oh yeah, he could. Yeah, but I have some nieces that are like just out doing their thing. They go out, they have fun, they do all that. I think that's so appropriate during that age. And I also think if you want to have a little fling with an older man, that's appropriate during that age. You can do that whenever.
Yeah.
But
like Tanya said, she wasn't expecting that.
Caught feelings, and you can tell that she has caught feelings. If you go back and watch the actual video, she called him billionaire dick. Like, she's on one with him. And the fact that it's Diddy, I mean, those of us who are old enough, we've been following Diddy for a while. We know he has trouble with committing. And I hate to see her waste all of these good years on somebody like him. I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, not just that. I get in my feelings when in the celebrity world, pretty much who you hang around is who you socialize with, who you party with, who you end up liking, falling in love with, whatever. If you notice, a lot of celebs stay within the celeb circle. I have no problem with that because you're comfortable with that circle, so that's who you're with. But the problem I have with it is that, like you just said, you have women who are ready to commit, who are ready to, not waste their good years on men like that, but it's the same like revolving door. It's like, well, you're in that world of money, so you want somebody in that world of money, but he might not be into the money like you, into the honey, so to speak. And I think, for her, I don't know what it's going to take for her to kind of have like a little come to unidify yourself moment, but she is she's whipped on him, it seems.
She's sprung.
She's sprung out.
She's gonna waste some emotional energy on him. She's gonna waste her, possibly her fertile years, which I mean that I say that loosely because women can have babies, for many years.
But still, in her early years, I get it.
You're saying change up Lori Harvey. We spoke about her last show, and we can talk about Lori Harvey a little bit again. Just Lori's young. Lori, I actually like the fact that she knows she's not ready for marriage, and she knows she's not ready for a very serious relationship with Michael. She's what, 23, 24?
I thought I was going to say 23.
5 at the most. Yeah. He's something. And this is, LaTanya says she's running through him. Yeah, this is the time to do that. If that's the time to do that, if you want to do that.
Yep, right now.
And she also had Diddy, so I mean, hey.
So she can have some tea talk too, some tea talk time.
Yeah, she understood. Get in and get out.
That's the thing, when some of these guys, you got to understand the assignment at hand. Yes. You got to understand that once you start dealing with some of these billionaires and millionaires and things like that, it doesn't make it right. But now this is just what I've been told from my own knowledge. and don't quote me, but when a man, or I'm gonna speak from what a man told me because I don't know about women being millionaires and billionaires, but when a man makes that much money and
Mhm.
he can pretty much have any woman he wants at any amount of time, because women, not all women, but some women are attracted to that power. It
Yes.
might not even be the financials, because a billionaire, you don't just see billions of dollars. You
No.
just see the power of a man that has that. Even
Yeah.
with the millionaires, you don't see the millions. You might see the necklaces and the cars, but you get caught up on the power. So this one guy told me, he was a multimillionaire. He goes, when you get to a point where you can have anything and do anything and go anywhere, and it's you keep seeking that next high.
Mhm.
So for a man, if it's to have more women, you don't even really want them, but because you know you can get them, you just do it just because, you know. And sometimes you go out of the comfort zone to find out what makes you uncomfortable and try and do things that you would have never done any other if you didn't have the money, because you can, you know. And I feel like with her, she got hooked up with Diddy, but he knew what he was doing.
Have you followed his career? Diddy is a ball of fun all the time.
From day one.
Always has energy. Diddy, when he comes correct with the energy. And so you already know what you're getting into when you get with Diddy.
Yeah.
He's trying to party. He's trying to make it happen. So he's more than likely attracted to the fact that, again, she out here partying, twerking, she making money, she doing all that kind of stuff. It's an energy match.
Fun for him. Like he said, we can go to the strip club together.
He made all the list of all the dumb shit that they do. It's an energy match. You know, it was only after she pressed a little bit that he said, "You're authentic." But I mean, he's not saying like, "Yeah, but you're the one for me." You know, I found out this about myself while I've been with you. You make
Everything's fun.
Everything is about fun.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is about fun.
Parties, going to trips, you know. But when he threw church in there, that kind of got me. I'm like, church.
And clearly he was lying because she was like, "Oh, we go to church?" Like, when? Then he said, "I'm going to take you to church." So I was like, "Oh, okay. All right."
I want to hear about that one. Which one? First Baptist Apostolic Christ AME Church of the Lord and Praise it.
I don't know. Maybe they're going to Kanye's church since he, introduced him last night. But I just encourage anybody to go back, and it's about a 35-minute show. Go back and listen to it. It's funny. It's kind of sad too, just because if you're watching the dynamic between the two of them, he is clearly he being Diddy, and she's really wanting him to acknowledge her in a different way. But it makes me think about women in general. Like, do women in general waste their good years, waste their good, time when they could be out learning about who they are as a woman, having fun? Do they waste that time trying to be something to a man who ultimately ain't shit, who ultimately is not going to give them what they're looking for, not going to match what their desires are? He's not the long-term big picture.
Right. And we both have daughters, and that's something that, like my daughter's high school boyfriend, very attractive couple together. And from the outside, of course, as a mom, you're not gonna know everything about what's going on. But then when she was like, "Oh, he this, he that," and so I have to support her on how she feels and tell her, "Look, this is high school. Once you go to college, you're open up to people from all over the world, literally."
Yes.
And I know it's gonna hurt. I know it's all, but you have to make a decision what's best for you.
Yeah.
And she chose, and I'm glad she made a decision. Like, you know what, he much as he adored and wanted, but she wasn't happy. She wasn't connected in it, And she's gone through her own. I'm like, this is what I want Black women, especially the young women, to date. Our counterparts date. We get with the man. We ride and die till the wheels fall off. But sometimes when the wheels haven't fallen off, we're still riding and dying. We're dying. We're not really riding anymore.
Girl, we in Flintstone cars running till our feet are dirty, heavy. We still trying to run.
That's why I keep saying that I could go back and switch up some things. I think things would be different because I wasn't taught to date. I was taught, like, my grandmother, they married like at 16, 17, had a bunch of kids. I mean, it was a different dynamic back then. So my mother's coming out of that. So what she gave to me wasn't about get out there and date. It was more so about find a good man, but it wasn't about the things I want my daughter to know now. Not just find a good man. You got to find a mate that loves your dirty draws. You got to find someone who will listen to you when you can't talk anymore. There's other things to find instead of a man who has a good job.
Yeah.
Because every job that's good might not be a job of somebody you need to be together with. So.
And think about it like this, Micheline. While we were all not being taught how to date, men were being taught how to run around and date whomever they wanted to. So it's like we're coming into the picture as polar opposites. Like women are into things wanting fidelity, of course, wanting a man that loves them, wanting a man that, is ready to provide, ready to give them all these things that we were told growing up we should have. That's how you recognize a good man. He's going to be willing to do all these things. While men were being told, yo, go out, find yourself, sow your oats, have fun, and not saying that they weren't taught what a quote unquote good woman was. They weren't taught to go out immediately looking for her. No. They were taught to go out and have all the fun they wanted to have and then find her. Meanwhile, all these other women who were taught to be available for that good man are again wasting their good years on men that ain't even trying, not even remotely trying to be good to them. They're just trying to have fun and they're running through them.
Yep.
So,
and I guess I will say that the set of kids, well, I will say kids, my daughter's 21, but they are in a different dynamic because they're in the world of the microwave when they want it now. They're in the world of social media. They're in the world of all the Instagrams, Facebooks, TikToks, all these different things that are just flooding their psyche on relationships, how you're supposed to look, how you're supposed to dress. We didn't have any of those things to distract us. All we had is, girl, we can put some lip gloss on. We didn't have all the things that this generation has. We didn't have date apps, and we didn't. There's so many other ways that they can go about being together, FaceTime, and all that. We didn't have all that, so I think the communication was totally different.
Absolutely,
seeing somebody was totally different. We had the daggone telephone with the cord stuck to the wall. It wasn't like we were going to take the phone and go someplace else until those cordless phones came out. So again,
and you only have a limited amount of time to talk on that phone. Like you won't get ready to talk all night on the phone. Not to no boy. Not to anybody.
I need my girlfriends. Like, you better no, that wasn't happening.
You're not talking to nobody all night on the phone. You're gonna talk for this little bit. It was like we had weekends and night. You remember when we had minutes at night and on the weekends? It was like that, only we had less minutes.
You're too funny.
Had a good 20.
Yes. But honey, I remember, anytime I made a phone call back in the day, it was a toll call. So you had to pay for everything. Even if I had to call from where we are right now to Baltimore, that was a toll call. So it was like, oh Lord, how long I've been on the phone? Well, now kids, unlimited minutes. What was the thing? Unlimited minutes. Your unlimited time starts. No, it's not unlimited. You got time.
The kids today don't know nothing about no unlimited minutes. All they know is they pick up their phone and call, and it's unlimited data. So not only are they on the phone, they're really not on the phone. They're video calling. They're video.
I was about to say that.
In social media apps, they're doing WhatsApp. They're doing all of that. So, but again, if you dial it back to our years, and my years were a little even a little different from yours. You had a very limited amount of time to talk on the phone, and you weren't talking on the phone in private. You were going to talk in public, in the living room or the kitchen, wherever that public phone for the house was.
I love it, the public phone.
And that was it. You better not say nothing that sounds strange, or you're going to be off the phone, and you're not calling him no more.
Go ahead, Mama Kay. Go, Mama Kay. But it's so true. And so maybe if it's some type of way to get these young girls who will cuss you out in a heartbeat if you don't say what they want to say, or even smack their head or pop their lips and all that type of stuff. Again, another generation. But if I could go back and tell myself something, I would tell my own daughter the same thing, because only thing that changes are the days on the calendar.
So true. So that's a good point, though. What would you tell yourself? Like knowing what we know now, because when I look at the young women now, I'm like, bitch, twerk. What go ahead, girl. Bitch, I say that lovingly.
I know what you mean.
But I'm like, what would you tell yourself? I would tell myself, like, girl, twerk all night if you want to. Go out and have fun. Don't pay him no mind. Don't date anybody seriously. If you don't like them, keep it moving and don't worry about it. Like, what would you tell yourself?
I'm there because I've been a mother for I was an early mother. I was pregnant at 20, had my son, I was 21. So I never knew that hanging out all night, never sleeping all day, all those things that a lot of young girls had in their 20s. I didn't have that luxury because I had a son.
Yeah.
So if I could go back, I don't even know what my life would be like without him because that's all I know. So I can only imagine, like, would I have done this? Would I have done that? Would I have hung out? Would I have stayed the night over guys' houses? Because all those things I didn't do because I had my son.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, I partied in college. I had a good ass time.
So I didn't even have that. That's what I'm saying. I didn't have that.
I had a really good time, but I was always on this hunt for love. And I don't think if I had it to do over, I would not have been on that hunt. I would have just been myself without that piece.
Okay. Now see, I never was really on that hunt, but I do when I stop to think back at my earlier ages, when I look at the girls now, I say to myself, did I dress like that? Did I talk like that? Did I, I try to remember because again, my daughter thinks that, oh, mom, I'm sure you did this or that. But then I think back and I'm like, but no, I didn't because again, I had my son at such a young age. But she's living her life and I wanted to live her life, but I wanted to also understand that it's a cause and effect for everything.
Oh yeah, she's living her best life, but every decision we make, there's a consequence to it, whether it's one you want or one you don't like so much. So.
And like any mother, you don't want to see your kids get hurt. Your son, your daughters, you don't. And I don't want to see her get hurt. I've seen her get hurt before.
Yeah.
I don't want whoever comes into her life to just rain on her parade. She's going to get hurt. She's going to, that kind of stuff is normal. But the bust the bubble and then you got to, figure out how to put air back and patch it all up. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. I get trust.
So girl, live your life. Just live your life. Hey.
And she needs to do that. She's at that age where she needs to do that. There's so many, but the truth of the matter is a woman at any age should be living their life, right? Like, yes, we're kind of focused on 20s because we're talking about Carisha who's in her 20s, but we should have been living our lives in our 30s. We should have been living our lives in our 40s and our 50s and beyond. And I think, again, we get really, really, really caught up with what we're taught and how we're supposed to behave. And then we waste our years. And I'm not calling them our good years because every year that we're alive is a good year.
Exactly.
We just waste our years and waste our time and waste energy that could be put in different directions on, people that they don't need to be put on. They don't need to be. We need to channel our energy differently so that we can focus on what we need.
100%. If we could channel our energy into, I don't even know. You always have the answers, but I just feel like if I could channel some of the energy that I have into other areas or aspects of my life, it would definitely be different outcomes.
And I'm not saying don't be in no relationship. I'm not saying, I'm in a relationship now. I'm not saying don't date. I'm not saying don't be in a relationship. I'm not saying don't, give guys that you think deserve your energy a chance. I do think that, as women and even as men, we just need to be able to identify when someone is not worth our energy. And not lingering. If the person's not worth it, keep moving. And it's hard sometimes to identify if that person is worth it or not worth it because we have a tendency to, see people through a lens that is not accurate many times when we want something. And it takes different experiences that end up being hurtful for us to take those rose tints off of our glasses.
I'll say that again. You don't want to see what your eyes have seen.
We look at people through the lens of potentiality as opposed to reality.
And
And
dating potential is one thing. If I could go back, because I've dated potential, and I don't know if many women will admit that they have.
oh
But
yeah,
I have dated with the potential that maybe he could this, or I'm sure one day he'll that, or hopefully he'll that. And
mhm.
potential will not get
Potential may never show up. He may potentially never show up in the
I
way that
love
you are wanting him to.
that.
Or she may potentially never show up in the way you want her to. And so we can't lead through the lens of looking at potential. I mean, it's great to have it's great for them to have ambition. It's great for them to talk about this is what I want to do. It's great for them to whatever. But if they're not taking, as my good friend would say, inspired action to show you
Oh,
that it's really happening, you
I
got to
like that.
pay attention to that. Yeah.
Inspired action. Okay.
Yeah, if they're not doing something with those words, you gotta pay attention to that, and you gotta put whatever time limit is for you on it. And once that time runs out, it's like that little timer you play when you play a board game with your
And
family.
flip it over.
Once that thing get low, you like, okay, telling yourself like, okay, girl, here's the 2-minute warning. Let this motherfucker go. You know, you know, like like he got a couple of days to show me what he said was it. And it's
I love it. I
and
love it.
and the funny thing is that sometimes you cannot physically be out, right? But
Mhm.
you end up turning yourself off emotionally. And when you turn yourself off emotionally in a
It's a wrap.
relationship, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
No, it really is. This just hit my brain
Mhm.
thinking about relationships, and before we wrap up, because the time goes by so fast when we get to talking. But what would you do? Scenario for people out there. And I'm going back to one of our topics about the reproductive rights. I won't even say abortion. I'm just going to say the reproductive liberties, civil rights that we should have.
Right.
Um, you're in a relationship with somebody you think you know, and I know this is crazy to wrap up the show like this, but I'm always curious, like, because sometimes couples agree to disagree, and I'm wondering, in someone's household, is this conversation going on where a man is all for it and a woman is against the decision? And
Yeah.
how does that play? And I know that we're off topic with that, but I just had me wondering, like, gosh, is there somebody at home having a discussion who is the man is all about this, and the woman's like, nigga, what? Nigga, who, what?
Yeah. Let me make sure I understand what you're saying. When you say that the man is all about this, you mean the overturned ruling?
Yes, about the overturned ruling, and the woman's like, well, no, because it's my right to decide what I do, with
Yeah.
my body.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably absolutely happening. And I think, I mean, I don't know exactly what's happening in individual households when those conversations come up, but I can say that I'm sure it's coming up. I'm sure it's happening. And it just depends on the nature of the relationship, whether or not those two people have um, a dynamic where they speak freely, whether they agree to disagree on some things, or whether one person feels like they just have to, not necessarily talk openly about how they truly feel. Or they may both say how they feel and just argue it out. It just depends on, like I said, that particular relationship. I think that, it's probably a difficult area to broach if there's a couple where one person is on one end of the spectrum of the whole ruling and the other person's on the other end. And it kind of, to me, would lend itself to say like, oh, wow, you feel that way about this? Well, how do you feel about other things that involve me and my rights as a woman? And so it's worth talking about.
And that's when she needs to look back and say, girl, I'm going to live my life. She
Yeah.
gonna have herself a hot girl summer from that one.
I don't really say that, but if they're married, it might be a little more difficult to just say like, yeah, I'm gonna live my life. So it's worth the discussion, and hopefully if there are couples out there that are dealing with that, they have someone they can go and talk to if they need a mediator. Because it's not me.
I would say, Kay, are you opening up your arms for services here and you bring them on?
Not right now, but
soon and very soon.
That's very soon, very soon. But no, I would encourage I would encourage therapy for a couple that's going through that, particularly if it is a situation that is, causing distress in the home. Because again, if you feel like that about this decision and it's my body and we've never talked about it before and all of a sudden it comes up, that's going to bring a lot of emotion, and it's also going to bring about a lot of questions about, okay, well, what else do you
Yeah, what else? Girl, I'm sitting here thinking about, yes, the what else. Sometimes I wish I could be at a barbershop, because the barbershops, they go all in on conversations like this about women. And then I want to be at, a salon, but I ain't got time for that either. Sit
Right.
there and see what the women are saying. So topics like this, when something major goes down, is when you want to be that fly on the wall to hear just what the streets saying, what people are saying. Because again, white people, black people, everyone they're seeing this. If they agree, they're
Yep.
doing the same thing, but they're seeing it from two different perspectives, because a white person who has to go get an abortion is totally different than a brown person who has to go out there and get one, even though if it's illegal. So,
Well, I also think it's a different layer with this conversation and with this topic. I think it's also a religious layer too. And, there's a lot of people that connect pro-life and pro-choice views to their religious views. And so that's also another caveat that, when it comes up, it's like, I would say like, hey, everybody that's watching, put what they think in the comments. But the truth of the matter is these are sensitive topics.
Yes.
And so unless you just absolutely are comfortable with talking about these things, it would be really hard to find people to just out themselves about their religion or their belief where pro-life and pro-choice is concerned.
Girl, religion, I don't know. Sometimes I wanted to take that and make it a topic, but girl, we could get into some trouble with people's feelings and getting hurt, and the Bible and what it says and what it means.
Yeah, I had a very brief conversation with a family member this weekend, and I could easily see right away that it was going to go to the Bible dynamic, and I'm like, I immediately said, listen, when I'm talking about Bible, yes, I believe in the Bible, but I also think women have rights about their body. Like I have a choice about what I want to do with my body because it's my body. And so, yeah. So
we don't move to another state and have somebody
that gets really, really interesting. So
with that being said,
yeah, I'm KS Lewis.
I'm Micheline Bowman.
This is the Kicks and Giggles Show. Thanks so much for listening. If this is your first time tuning in tonight, we come on every second and fourth Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can find us anywhere you like to watch or listen to your podcast.
We cannot wait for you to join us on the next second Monday, which will be bumping it up July 11th.
July 11th it is. So we'll see you then. In the meantime, be safe, everyone. And if there's a topic that you want us to talk about, send us a message and we'll be glad to consider it. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Good night.